Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you. The first Tuesday of February for the Tuesday. It's a Jason Sukamel day. Super Bowl, Super Jason. This is a jam-packed week, Jason. And I had an idea for the show. And Jason, I figured today, let's just do straight shots, no chasers. All right. Straight shots,
All
no
right.
chasers, Jason, which is I want to know the guys who I need to know in 2027 class. And I want to go by position and make things a little bit easier for us. But now that transfer portal season's dying down, and look, we're a long. You know, it's funny, by the way, Jason. Sidebar. I was going to say we're a long way from signing day. Signing day is technically tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah, right. Even I kind of forget about that. Yeah.
There literally is a second signing day tomorrow that nobody cares about, Jason.
We're gonna have one guy sign. I mean, he's an unranked guy is going to sign tomorrow. So everything happens in that first window.
Talking about? For Texas?
Yeah, they got the commitment.
You talking about the linebacker?
No,
I thought you said 27 kid.
Well, that happened, yes, but they got the defensive line commit, and I'm trying to think of his name, Elijah Ali. He's a guy out of California. He was unranked at the time of his commitment. He committed to Texas. They'll probably slap a couple stars on him, but yeah, kind of not kind of. He's more of a project type guy, big guy that moves well, but moved back and forth from New York to California a couple times. So flew under the radar. But yeah, Elijah Ali is his name. Will be signing with Texas tomorrow.
Congratulations, Elijah. You will be by yourself, by the way, but hopefully has a nice ceremony at school. So, Jason, we really are thinking about 2027. And, you know, in 2027 season, let's start with quarterbacks because it's going to be interesting because this will be Arch's last year. And at least that's all of our anticipations, right? And that's obviously everything goes well, nothing.
I was gonna say, if it's not, that's a bad omen. If he comes back, for
something bad happened, and we're not wishing that on anybody, right? We're looking at a quarterback room that has KJ Lacey. We're looking at a quarterback room that would have Diabell, and I wouldn't be surprised if Texas goes to the transfer portal and gets somebody. I don't know if they would go to get a starter, but you know, we know that they're going to need at least another 2027 body that comes in there. Who do I need to know, Jason? Who are the kids that are on that 2027 radar? Just wow me, Jason.
You won't be wowed. I'm with you, Almar. I think they need to go to the transfer portal again next year, like they did this year, like they did last year, to get some depth, maybe some experience in that quarterback room. You know, we think KJ Lacey and Diabell are going to be good, but there's no guarantee, right? So you better have someone else who has some experience ready to go. As far as 2027, you know, we've talked about it. Kavian Bryant's committed to Texas Tech. Peyton Houston's committed to LSU. We've talked about him a bunch. The only other guy they're after, Anwar, is a guy out of Smithson Valley, just south of Austin here. Ty Knutson is a guy that Texas offered. Was it at the junior day, I believe? Yeah, so in mid-January. I mean, I got to think Ty's going to wind up committing to Texas. He's got some other pretty good offers, but Texas is his best offer. I mean, A&M's offered him, but they've got a quarterback. So he's the only guy right now. We're just kind of waiting to see what happens with him. I mean, they're still evaluating some other guys, and if he doesn't commit, they'll have guys come in the spring or for summer, you know, elite camps and things. But right now, Ty Newton's the guy we're watching.
Whatever happened to Gunnar Rivers, Phillip Rivers' son?
Nobody knows.
He's like, okay.
I mean, he never talks. He doesn't do interviews. You know, he did visit for a junior day last year, and like, I was able to interview him. I had to like hunt him down in person. And his dad was super cool. Phillip was with him. So Phillip was super cool, and like, thanks for doing the interview. But they just don't talk. So, you know, they don't talk about offers. You know, would Texas take him? I mean, probably, but he never came out and said, Texas offered me a scholarship today. He just said, Texas, you know, made it know that they want me. But, you know, nobody really knows what he's going to wind up doing. I mean, a lot of people think he might follow in his dad's footsteps, but he's a total wild card. But, I mean, he's on the radar, but not formally offered, or at least not publicly offered just yet.
I mean, listen, look, my man Te. He told me it's how to pronounce his name, and I forgot it, so I don't want to butcher it, right? Um, but this is a good question though, Jason.
Mhm.
And I know you're an old school guy. You
No,
kind
no, no.
of
I've changed my tune on the quarterback thing.
okay.
I've
Go
actually said, hey, I mean, look what Miami's done year after year. Look
uh-huh.
what Oregon's done. I mean, Indiana, I get it, but you're not usually going to get the Heisman Trophy winner out of the portal. Okay, that's
Yeah.
going to be kind of unique. I mean, I look what Vanderbilt's done in elevating their program. Oklahoma kind of had not kind of, they had a resurgence, maybe saved their coach's job with a transfer portal quarterback because those dudes are proven commodities to some degree, unless you go get Jackson Arnold. Hey, hey, had to get no, but you get a guy who played pretty well at another school, you probably figure they're going to do it right at your school. Now, again, we think KJ Lacey is going to be really good. We think Diabell is going to be really good, but those guys are kind of wild cards to some degree. So I don't think Sark will ever do that, but I've said in my columns, for the last 4 months, like, hey, it's not a bad strategy. Just go to the portal every year, every 2 years, and get a transfer quarterback. Now, the good thing is if you get a young quarterback like Arch or KJ Lacey, if KJ winds up being your guy, or Dia, you might get 2 or 3 years out of them, high level football. In the portal, you're probably getting 1, maybe 2 in unique situations. So, no, I mean, I kind of agree. I mean, there was one time last year I looked at the top 10 teams in the country, and I want to say 8 of them had portal quarterbacks at one time. And those rankings ended up changing, of course. But Ole Miss did it, Tennessee did it. A lot of teams did it at high levels last year.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, listen, I know there's other things to discuss. And look, if we don't get to the defense, it is what it is. We'll do it another week. But it is a fascinating thing because, Jason, the one thing we've seen is that we know young quarterbacks will go through growing pains. We've seen it. Whether
We've seen it with the guys who are generational players. We saw it with Arch. We saw it with Quinn Ewers, right? I mean, those guys were supposed to, can't miss prospects, and
correct.
We saw them both go through growing pains.
Yes, I mean Jackson Arnold was a 5-star, right, coming out of high school for whatever
that whole class of 5 stars has been, for the most part, been pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that part, right? So it almost seems like, Jason, when we talk about work smarter, not harder, it seems like the smarter play would say, I'm going to bring in a guy to compete against KJ Lacey for the starting position, not MJ Morris, who's going to be your third string guy or something like that, not a Matthew Caldwell, who you're bringing in to be a backup, but someone that you're saying to yourself, all right, go against him. The 3 of you guys, this is the death match. Whoever wins, they win. But not shying away from that just because you're worried about quarterbacks going to the portal. Because, Jason, guys are going to go to the portal anyway. It's almost like it's unavoidable. And you can sit around and be complacent and think, well, Trey Owens will sit here and he'll wait his turn and he won't. And Bleak Murphy may sit here and wait his turn and he won't. And so it's almost like it's better to be proactive than reactive.
It's an interesting balance, though, because personally, I don't see Sark going the way of the portal for starting quarterbacks, maybe for depth and experience and break glass in the case of emergency. Okay. But if he did say, hey, I'm going to go find my starting quarterback from Cal, the way Indiana did, or maybe a guy played at, North Texas, really, I'm seriously, and lit it up, or, wherever, a smaller school. And you said, hey, no, that guy's are going to be our starter. Let's go get him. Well, does that then impact your ability to recruit high-level high school quarterbacks? Probably at some point. So it's kind of a balancing act. A bit of a slippery slope. Once you go down that road, I feel like you almost have to keep going down that road, like we're seeing Miami do. Oregon's doing it. Indiana's doing it again. I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic. I'm not opposed to that strategy one bit, but it would be like a wholesale shift. You're gonna have to be like, okay, we're going to that portal every year, every other year at worst, to get our starting quarterback. And then we're going to recruit the Trey Owenses of the world, the Ty Newtons of the world, guys who probably don't mind being patient. Maybe they never wind up being a starter, but they get to play in the SEC and go to the University of Texas. So now the tricky part of that, Anwar, is if you go to the portal every year, what happens if one year if you just don't get the guy that you need or want, then you're screwed potentially for that 1 year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But Oregon has been rolling the dice, the last few years, and it's worked for them.
It's worked for them. They've had really good quarterbacks who've gone on to the NFL and done things. I mean, honestly, as long as you pay enough, you're probably going to get your guy, right? If we're being honest. And we know Oregon's done it. I mean, starting with Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel. They've got this year Moore. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Moore.
Yeah. So I mean, and they'll keep doing it. Miami's just got the guy from Duke. Miami's done it. With Cam Ward, they've done it 3 or 4 years in a row now, I think. So Carson Beck, of course. So certain schools, that's just kind of the philosophy they've taken on, and it's worked. I like it as much or more for schools like Vanderbilt, who are really trying to just go from nothing to something. I mean, quite frankly, Oklahoma went from Brent Venables being fired to making the college football playoff because they went and got a portal quarterback. So it's a very good quick fix for a program, but it also has shown that it can be sustainable.
By the way, Dante Moore. I said DJ Moore.
Dante
Moore. I apologize for that. All right. Yeah, listen, this is fascinating conversation. We'll maybe do a whole show on that one in the off season when we're looking for topics. So I'm gonna put this right in my notes here, Jason, and then we'll come back to that. If it sounds familiar in June, just know I'm scratching, needing some stuff. All right, what about the running backs? And this one's Jason. This is a tough one for me, and here's how it's tough, because someone asked the question. And I know Mark Ruiz was saying, like, okay, does high school recruiting really matter anymore, right? And I think a lot of people are asking that. Again, that's probably a topic for another day, right? But Jason, when I look at running backs, I don't know what to make, right? Because look at this list of guys that they've had, like Trey Wisner, Jarrett Gibson, C.J. Baxter, Ricky Stewart, Christian Clark. All those guys transferred out, Jason.
Those guys were kind of, other than C.J. Baxter, who was clearly a terrible evaluation by the ranking services, those guys were not great prospects. You went out and got Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers if you're Texas. You know why? Because your high school recruiting sucked. So to answer the question, yeah, high school recruiting still matters. You got to go out and do these kinds of things when you miss on players. So you've got to be good at your high school recruiting. Texas hasn't been at the running back position. They think they were this year with Derek Cooper. We'll see. Interestingly, Derek Cooper, in the 2026 class, of course, Texas goes out and signs him and pays him a pretty handsome NIL deal, and very handsome. And he tumbled on in the national rankings. So it's just, I don't know. Did they overpay? We'll see who's right, the Texas coaches or these national rating services. But, if you recruit well at the high school level, you don't have to go scrambling in the portal for 1 year fixes. So absolutely. I did a thing in my 3-2-1 a few weeks ago. I did the 2 deep, projected 2 deep, of course, for Texas. And I think it was 27 to 13 will be high school players. 13 will be portal players. There were, and a couple are overlapping. That's why there's only 40. So all this stuff, does high school recruiting still matter? Drives me nuts, dude. You can't have a sustainable program without a good high school program. You're not going to go out and get 20 starters in the portal every single year, but and feel like you're too deep. But at the running back position in the 2027 class, you just signed Derek Cooper. You're banking, kind of literally writing the checks that he's going to be your guy. Maybe not this year as much because you went and got those transfer portal guys, although I think people at Texas still hope he's a factor this year. But definitely in 2027 and beyond, you're counting on him to be your guy. So in the 2027 class, like I did a Hot 11 a couple weeks ago where I ranked my top 11 targets for Texas in terms of need and talent. I didn't have a running back on there. They've got some guys. If I look, Landon Williams-Callis is a highly ranked guy out of Richmond Randall here in the state of Texas. Texas is down his list quite a bit. I tell you a guy to know, Noah Roberts. He's out of Chandler, Arizona. kind of fancies himself as a Bijan Robinson type. So he's a guy to know, but there aren't a lot of high-end talent. And of course, Texas does have a new running backs coach. So I think that's going to change. You're going to see them go more national, but Lathan Wisington is a guy that was in for junior day. Sarad Baker is a guy that Jabbar Jaluk offered back in December. So the running back position is a little bit behind in terms of clarity there, but there's 4 or 5 names, but I do think more names will start to emerge in the running back room.
Hey, Mike Torres had a question for you about Landon Williams Callis. Wants to know where Texas stands with him.
Not great, Mike. Well, again, we'll see Jabbar Jaluk. Maybe that comes in and shakes things up, but Texas was behind other teams when Coach Jaluk was hired. Maybe he can close that gap. We'll see.
Okay. All right. So we running back. And then, by the way, just Jason, for you, just, kind of putting a ribbon and bow in a running back conversation. Jet Walker, is that more of a development project for you at this point?
Probably, but the guy's ultra productive in high school. He's not super highly rated, but I think he's a better player than people give him credit for. I mean, people say, "Oh, a lower rated guy," and I mean, with all due respect to Christian McCaffrey, people say, "Oh, white running back, he's probably not that good." No, man, Jet Walker can run, so he's a big guy that can run with some power. Is he going to come in and contribute year one? Probably not, but could he be in that rotation maybe next year after a couple of these running backs are gone? Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Let's have some fun. Let's get sexy here. Let's talk about wide receivers, Jason. That's always fun. That's always somebody there. Who is the guy, Jason, that's going to break my heart this offseason? Who's the guy going to get so excited about and think Texas is going to get this guy and then he's going to go to Oregon or some Ohio State or some BS like that, and I'm going to be really pissed off. Who's going to break my heart?
They've already got him on. It's Easton Royal, the commitment from New Orleans. I mean, he's the number 2, I think, receiver in the country, number 7 player overall in the country. When people say, does high school recruiting still matter? Yeah, because that dude's going to be a 3-year starter for you if you get him. I mean, he's that good. He's, he's maybe one of, again, top 5-ish players in the country. This guy has electric speed, wants to run track in college too, committed to Texas. He's visited Texas, multiple times. But listen, LSU's not going away. Florida's not going away. I mean, other school, Ohio State's not going away. So Eastern Royal is committed, and he is the name to know there. There are other guys in state in particular that Texas really likes. Julian Caldwell out of Argyle, Trey Moore. I wrote about him in my 3-2-1 today. Trey Moore's out of Pflugerville Weiss. Texas really likes him. There's a guy, Bryson Thrower, who I wrote about in my 3-2-1 from North Forney, a little bit underrated, I think. Man, you look at his film, and I'm like, damn, that's a big dude, like 6'3", who can move. In Texas really likes him. So they've got some other options in state, and they'll try to fill it out with 2 or 3 more of those guys. But I think right now, I mean, if you could get Julian Caldwell and pair him with Eastern Royal or Trey Moore, everything else is gravy. I mean, Eastern Royal, I mentioned, is top 6 or 7 player in the country. Julian Caldwell, I think, is top 50-ish player in the country. So they've got some pretty good options at the receiver position.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely guys who are out there. I'm going to have a conversation with you off camera, but there are some other names I've heard as well, Jason. But yes. By the way, tell me about Trey Moore a little bit, because he has been on campus a couple of times. He is a local kid. His dad's a pastor right here in Austin and everything. And his dad went to Oklahoma though, so we can hold that against the father. But sometimes the sons make up for the sins of the father. But just a little bit more about him though.
He was at the junior day on January 17th, I think it was. But he's been to multiple Texas games. Big kid, like 6'3", 210, can really stretch the field. You mentioned he's at Pflugerville Weiss, so he's kind of right here in central Texas. A&M's heavily involved there. Oklahoma's heavily involved there. He doesn't have a list of favorites. A lot of people just assume he's going to go to Oklahoma. His dad played quarterback at Oklahoma in the mid to late 90s. I actually talked to Trey this week. I asked him about the Texas visit, and he went to the junior day And then a couple days later, Chris Jackson went by his school and did an in-home visit. So that tells you that he's a priority. But I asked about his dad actually went with him to the junior day. His parents did. And he said his dad was like, wow, it wasn't like this when I played. And I was like, no, probably wasn't. But I asked him, I said, a lot of people just assume Oklahoma because of your dad. He goes, man, that's not true at all. He goes, my dad is completely open to me going wherever is best for me. Does that mean Oklahoma is not going to be a strong player or even the pick in the end? No, doesn't mean that necessarily. He might still wind up at Oklahoma. But I genuinely don't get the impression his dad or his family is like pushing him to go to Oklahoma. I think he is pretty open. I think Texas has a really good shot there. He did tell me he's going to start working on official visits pretty soon. I said, well, will Texas get one? He goes, 100%. Texas will get an official visit.
Nice. Okay, well, we'll see. I just know that, hey, so on the times I'm trying to live a little bit right, I do go to their church. It's called.
Oh, is that right? Okay,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So Summit Worship Center. It's off of was it Anderson Mill, heading towards 183, where that Shipley's Donuts is, like in that kind of parking lot there. So he's really good, by the way. He's really his dad's really good. So I just thought that, but I haven't been in a while, so he can. So anyway, we'll leave that alone. All right, Jason. Offensive line, Jason.
Oh, we want to skip tight end?
You know what? Yep. Give me tight end. No, you're right. Give me tight end. Jeff Banks has probably offered 12 people. Let me guess. Jeff Banks is probably offered, I'm gonna guess, 5 tight ends.
No, more than that. Probably close to double digits. Yeah.
Jeff Banks is going to see me just curse me out.
It's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, I'm convinced of it. But
they do have one guy committed, JT Garassi out of New Jersey. It's funny. He's kind of under the radar in terms of his ranking. He's a 3-star guy. But, dude, you look at his offer list, like everybody wants that guy. I mean, Alabama, Notre Dame, I think Ohio State maybe even. So I feel like – and I look at his film like, okay, I get it. Like, I don't understand why he's so – underranked, I think. But Texas has one commitment there. The other big name to know, Brock Williams, they hosted, he's from right outside the Chicago, Illinois area. They hosted him for a visit, was it 2 weekends ago when we had that big freeze? He still came in. He and Easton Royal, the receiver, still came in. So Brock Williams is down to Texas, Georgia, and Ohio State. Really like that Texas visit. His parents were with him, but he's been to Georgia a bunch. He's been to Ohio State a bunch, so that one's going to be a little bit tricky. Ahmad Hudson's he's the number 1 tight end in the country. He's out of Louisiana. Texas has offered him, but he's just not feeling Texas that much right now. There's another guy, Grant Haviland, out of Georgia. He's visited Texas a couple times. If Texas wants to push there, I could see him coming in for an official visit. So they got a few names. They got one commitment, but right now they're trying to close the deal with Brock Williams, who probably will decide in March or April between Texas, Georgia, and Ohio State.
Ooh, okay. So by the way, do you think most of these guys, Jason, because I feel like most of the horses were in the barn pretty early this year. I felt like summer, it was pretty much wrapped up. Is that kind of a fair assessment, Jason?
Yeah, usually like July, guys really start coming off the board in July. Maybe a few wait till August. I mean, you'll always have 1 or 2 that wait until the fall. And then after July, it's more like, hey, let's hang on to our current commitments, because starting September, they'll start going to visit other places and showing up at other games and things. But yes, overwhelmingly, not just Texas, but across the country, most guys are off the board by the end of July anymore.
All right, Jason. All right. Last but not least, our guy, Kyle Flood.
Yeah. He's got a lot of good options. So
offensive line. He's been taking a lot of bullets in the transfer portal, Jason. But Kyle, what does he have anything cooking? The chef Flood got anything cooking in the kitchen, Jason?
Well, I'm going to start with Ishmael Kamara, the offensive lineman out of Gilmer, who honestly, I think he's 30-something in the country. That probably is underranked, in my opinion. He's played basically 1 year of varsity football. This is a young man that came from France. 6'4". I don't have my stats in front of me. He's like 336. This is a guy who benches well over 400 pounds, squats well over 700 pounds, probably maxes out like an 800-pound squat. He's going to run onward. He's going to throw shot and discus in the track and field. He might also run the 400 meters, is what I'm hearing, at 330 pounds and run it pretty well. He's going to probably get down, and the goal is like low 50s. I mean,
what's this guy's name?
Ishmael Kamara.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Keep going.
He's a freak of an athlete. And Texas actually went up on Friday of last week. First, Blake Gideon went up there because Blake Gideon has Curtis Brown, former Texas player Curtis Brown, is Ishmael Kamara's brother. Blake Gideon played with Curtis Brown under Will Muschamp. So Blake Gideon stopped by the school, saw his boy Curtis Brown, and then later in the day, Sark and Kyle Flood went by there. So, Ishmael's still new to the recruiting process because, again, he's still new to football. He's a guy that moved over from France. I don't know how many years ago, but a few years ago. So he's still kind of new to the game. He's taking things a little slower than most people. He doesn't have like a top 10 or anything, but I promise you, Texas will be a player there. I mean, he's got connections to UT. Texas has done a good job there. So to me, he's number one on their board, maybe regardless of position, honestly. A lot of people might say John Meredith because he's number one overall in the country per, I think, on 3 or something. But I don't know, man. Ishmael Kamara is crazy talented, and Texas needs a franchise. I mean, this guy, Almar, I said in my in a post this weekend, I said, he might, if he comes to Texas, there you go. He probably is the strongest lineman in your room from the day he steps on campus, and maybe the most athletic. Now, he's still new to the game. He's still raw, but he could be a day one starter. He's one of those unicorn offensive linemen who could come in as a day one starter. Look at that guy. He's freakish.
That dude's huge.
He moves really well, too. Yes.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Wow.
I need to get him on someday on either the Recruiting Insider or maybe have him join us on your show one day just to talk to him.
Let me guess. He was playing soccer for all these years.
He play a lot of soccer. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, he's agile, moves well. But, yeah, he's probably, to me, top dog. You got Kennedy Brown out of Kingwood, who's actually ranked higher than Ishmael, but I don't think, as good as he is, listen, he's a 5-star for a reason. I don't think he has the upside Ishmael has, the ceiling that Ishmael Kamara has. But Texas did stop by last week. Sark stopped by to see Kennedy Brown. So, Texas is in play there. They're behind. They've got to get Kennedy Brown on campus. It's funny. Texas just got a commitment from his teammate, Cade Haug, last night. And I asked Cade, he goes, I'm going to be working on Kennedy, try to get him up there to Texas with me. I said, yeah, I think you got your work cut out for you. And he agreed because he's not giving up. So, I'm looking down this kind of list of guys they've offered. Brian Swanson out of South Oak Cliff is another tackle. I think Texas is a team to beat there over A&M and Oklahoma and SMU. But again, like you said, Omar, they got to close the deal on some of these guys, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing to be in a good spot. You got to close the deal on those guys. Peyton Miller is a true center out of Anna, Texas, up kind of northeast of Dallas. Kyle Flood loves that guy. Peyton Miller really likes Texas a lot. I think Texas may be the team to beat there, but he's pretty open. But I think Texas is in a pretty good spot there. There's a couple guys that are committed to A&M, including Demarion Johnson. Texas is still working on. So they've got options, and they're in a pretty good spot with several of them. Now they just need to close up shop and get some of these guys locked in.
Well, Jason, let's do this. Let's just, why don't we cut it here? Maybe next week we'll talk defense and get on the defensive side of the ball, special teams. I know Jeff is offering somebody on special teams. I know there's a long snapper, kicker.
I don't think he has. He has not. Not yet, Onwar, but hey, wait till this summer. That might happen. But so far, no, nothing yet.
So let's do that. Let's cut it now, and then we'll pick up defense next week, okay?
Okay, I'll see you on the mic.
All right, man. See you, Jason. See you in our meeting in about an hour or so. Jason Sugarmel, orangebloods.com, all your recruiting stuff. I didn't want to keep him here for an hour, so we'll cut it short here. We'll pick up defense next week and everything else. I'll be back for the podcast if you guys are watching live. At noon, if you're watching on delay, I'll be on one of these shows on this channel. So, hey, guys, go out. Have a fantastic Tuesday. It's a Tuesday, right? Have a fantastic Tuesday. Enjoy yourself. Remember, I always say, live each day like it was your last. One day it will be. So go out, have a fantastic, fantastic day. Do something nice. Do something special for yourself. You absolutely deserve it. Mike Torres, Austin FC is coming around. Do something special for yourself.